Hello everybody and welcome to the channel Out of Ammo, Out of Time. I'm your host Krabbyterror8 and here we are in episode 8 of the Investigator games Eldritch Horror Edition. Now for those of you who are not familiar with my channel and are thinking, what's the Investigator games? That sounds a bit strange. Well, it's called that because it's a bit like the Hunger Games. Now I'm playing this across a number of Arkham Files games where I'm taking investigators true solo through the game against an older one or some kind of nefarious mythos effect, in this case Azathoth, one at a time systematically, and see how they go. Now depending on how they go, they end up in a league table a little bit like this one. And we can see the investigators who've done the best, all the way down to the ones who haven't done so well. And it's been tough going for the investigators in Eldritch Horror. Of the three I'm playing, which is Eldritch Horror, Elder Sign, and Arkham Horror the card game, I'd have to say that playing this one solo is probably the toughest. But that's alright, we're not here to win the game, we're here to see how the poor old investigators do against the odds and see how well they do. As we can see, Lily Chen has done pretty well. She managed to get 2 of the mysteries, and indeed William Yorick nearly got 3 mysteries last time as well, so he came close but not quite. So we will see how this week's investigator goes, Hank Samson, the farmhand, and we'll see how he goes in the Investigator games Eldritch Horror Edition. Now, just a quick spoiler alert, of course, if you're new to Eldritch Horror, I would really urge you to go and play the game in real life. I would urge you to play it, and watch some introductory videos. I'm assuming that you know how to play, and in fact, there's been a number of people on my channel who've been super helpful in helping me along the way, because I have made some errors. It's going to happen, and I do appreciate their feedback and their support over time as well. So yes, here we are with Hank Samson. Let's go around the table and just do all the various bits and pieces. And we're here in turn 1. But let's start with Hank himself. And just have a look at his investigator card. I do like the way they set these out. They're nice and big, lots of stuff going on them. They're great. So Hank Samson, which you might have kind of ascertained from his name, is not one to think about things with any great depth. He's more of an action man than a thinking man. And he's much more about kind of hitting things and smashing things rather than sort of spelling or things. So that's sort of where he's coming from. And as it says here, folks are in trouble. I don't got to be a genius to help out. So I think that's the point. He's not too big on the law, as we can see. His influence is fairly limited. His observational will are kind of average. It's his strength where he really stands out. So I think he will be taking on monsters, no doubt, and strength will be what we'll be focusing on. I don't think we'll worry too much about spells with old Hank. And indeed, if we look at his special ability and his special action, you can see how that plays through. He can take an action to test his strength, and if you pass, you can discard a monster on your space with toughness less or equal to your test result. So that's pretty good. That's a good way of clearing out a whole lot of monsters. And his special ability is pretty interesting, because what he basically does is you don't resolve the will test during a combat encounter unless you lose health from the strength test. So the thing is here, you kind of do things backwards. You do your strength test versus a combat encounter first, and as long as you don't lose anything from that, you don't need to go on and do the will test. So it's like the idea is basically smash them up before he's even thought about what he's looking at, and then they're sort of gone. So some definitely a fighty kind of character we have here, which makes him kind of single-minded in that way, which is very nice. He's got lots and lots of health, an 8 physiological index, but his psychological index is low at 4. And we have had a couple of other characters with a 4 psychological index, and they have had issues with that. So we're going to have to be very careful with Hank. that he rests up if he starts taking any kind of sanity, because things can get really bad very quickly for him. So that's the front. Let's just flip him over and have a look here. Now we won't worry about what's on the right hand side because that doesn't apply. We're in true solo, so we don't have to worry about that. He starts off in Dallas in the United States, and he gets a sledgehammer asset to start with, and we'll have a look at that in a second. And this is his backstory, personal history. Since he was a kid, Hank has crossed the country working on farms and ranches. In Texas, he saw a giant bird-like creature tear cattle to pieces. Everyone else ran, but Hank cracked that creature's skull open with his maul. Thinking nothing of it, he included the story in a letter to his father. Now his pa is missing, and folks in Dallas say someone's looking for Hank. If they thought they were going to scare him, they were wrong. Hank Samson ain't afraid of anything, and he aims to find his pa. Fantastic. So he's off to find his pa. He's off to bring the pain to Azathoth. So we will see how he goes with that. Now, just on his sledgehammer, you'll see he gets a +1. So he just gains +1 strength. So I put it here. He starts with a 5 strength. So he has a passive strength ability as long as he keeps his sledgehammer. And he gets +2 during combat encounters as well. So the sledgehammer is very nice from that perspective. But I think what we'll be hopefully be able to do, although our influence is a bit low, we might have to take a debt, is look for something which is going to boost that a little higher. But the passive strength ability is good, but then it would be nice to get something which gives us like a +4 in strength or something like that. I don't think we're going to worry about law too much in this particular case. So that's Hank Samson for us. So we will just go around the houses a little bit here, and just now I've already got the mythos deck set up here. I've already done that bit, so we can move forward from that. So the next thing to do is we'll just shuffle these up. Yeah. Now we'll shuffle up the assets and put those out. I'll just put them out, and then we'll have a look at what we have. And as I said, we will be looking for things that can boost our strength further. So what have we got here? We have a very pricey Lodge Disciple, which gives us +1 law and +1 influence. You may re-roll 1 die when resolving a law or an influence test. This actually could be handy because we're actually pretty low. Those are our lowest 2 stats. So actually having the Lodge Disciple as an ally would be very handy for Hank. But it's pretty pricey. Then there's the personal care, or private care, or private car, as I thought it was last time. That is a private car in the background. When you gain this card, immediately recover all health and sanity. Very nice. Scribe's Journal, which effects cannot cause you to discard clues or spells, which, in Hank's case, it would be clues rather than spells. And finally, an enchanted cane. Now, this is a magical weapon that gives you +3 during combat encounters, so that actually is quite good. And with anything with physical resistance, this would be very handy. So, of all of them, that's probably the one. Lodge Disciple feels a little bit on the pricey side, but the enchanted cane feels like that's something we could probably manage. So, some reasonable things, but to be honest, I would have preferred some kind of weapon that was really leaned into strength in a big way. But anyway, it might come up later. So there's the artifacts, there's Asia, there's Europe, there's America, there's General, and here we come to the expedition. I'm going to do this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the starting place of the expedition is Tunguska, which is a fair way away from where we are. So we will put that there. Okay. Now, what have we got here? We've got the other world encounters, and then we've got all the various effects. There's a bazillion of them, so we'll just shuffle all these up. So we don't use these ones. We're on Doom 15, so we're on Doom 15. We're sitting here at Dallas. The Doom track is here, waiting to roll around. Here are the research encounters. So we'll roll those up. Here are the mysteries. So here's Azathoth, as we all know and love Azathoth. So Yeah, he's proven to be quite a challenge. Now we'll just shuffle up the mysteries, and here we go, and see which one we get first. Some of them are more difficult than others. And this one is occult research. Well, occult research doesn't sound like the kind of thing that Hank would be doing, but anyway, the Shan are controlling innocent victims everywhere, using them to call forth Azathoth. After an investigator resolves a research encounter, he may spend one clue he gained from that encounter and place that clue on this card. At the end of the mythos page, there are clues on this card. Okay, so that's not too bad actually. We just have to resolve a research encounter. So there are much more gnarlier ones than that. So that's a pretty reasonable start, I think. Okay, so let's just shuffle up these. So we will draw a gate. Shuffle them up, and the gate that we get is Tunguska. Oh, it's all happening on Tunguska, isn't it? And then what's the monster? And the monster is the Shan. Okay. Oh, yeah. Is this the Shen or the Shan? Is this the same thing? The Shan, yeah, they are. Let's have a look at what these dudes do. So they're fairly low on everything, but they have physical resistance, which means immediately you have to use something magical. You can't use any physical weapons to get any benefits. If you lose sanity from the test, advance the doom by 1 unless you spend a clue. Discard the nearest clue. Oh, boy, they're nasty, aren't they? And they're on Tunguska. I don't know that they move around. I think they just do that, which is a bit of a nasty kind of discard the nearest clue. That is nasty. They're a long way away from us. So we're going to have to see if we can get over there, because I don't want that hanging around hoovering up clues. It's hard enough to get clues in this game without something like that. Well, speaking of clues, let's shuffle these up and see what we get. And what do we get here? We get number 18, which is right down there. Boy. Okay, so we're a long way from that. Okay, so I think that's all we've got. Okay, I think that's everything. I think we're back round to here on turn 1, and we are ready to go in the Investigator games with Hank Samson. Okay, so here we are with Hank Samson here in Dallas, which looks like, from the look of this, it's all about rail lines here. Yes, indeed, it is all about rail lines. So we have a couple of choices here. This is really kind of a branching choice. We can either try and get to the clue before the Shen hooves it up, which is sort of a way away that to the south east, or we can try and get to Tunguska, get rid of this Shen, close the gate, which is closer. I'm feeling like that's probably the thing to do, because I don't want this Shen hoovering up the clues, and it feels like by the time we try and get to the clue down on 18, it may have already disappeared. So I think the quicker we get over to Tunguska, the better, and that feels like probably going to San Francisco and then grabbing a boat to Russia and moving that way, because otherwise we're trying to get to Arkham and London and sort of go that way, which is much more difficult. So I think, yes, we've got 2 actions to start with. So I think the first action is to move to San Francisco. That's our first action. Once we're in San Francisco, I've just realized here we've got this test strength. If you pass, discard 1 monster on your space. Okay, so we're not there yet, but we can use that later. Okay, and then I was hoping that was on any space, but I think the next thing is to try and get this enchanted cane, because the Shen, you can't improve using the sledgehammer. So the sledgehammer, I think my reading is that it would be it would be useless against the Shen because I think it's got physical resistance. That's right. So we really want to get this enchanted cane so that we can actually smash the Shen over the head with it. So we are an influence of 2. So let me move these over here. Wish I had a little bowl or something to put these in, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll just use this. Okay, so yes, we are on a city space, and there are no monsters around, so we can do this. So we're going to roll up 2, and hopefully we get something from this. So we roll it up, and we get 1 success, which is good. But 1 would only get us the scribe's journal, and we need the enchanted cane. So we could take 3, which would give us, we could go into debt basically, which I think I'm going to do. So I will take a debt condition, and I will take the enchanted cane. Oh, and I can take the scribe's journal. I can take both for 3. So there we go. So that's nice because that means we get +3 strength, and we can also effects that cause you to discard your clues or your spells. You can't happen. So that's nice. Okay. So there we go. That's the end of our 2 action phases. I'll just bring out some new assets and let's see what we get. And we get the good old esteemed author who we've had before, who's an ally who lets you do some nice things with influence, etc. Although I think the Lodge Disciple would be more useful. And then we flip over and we get a Spirit Dagger, which, okay. Yep, that's a magic. Okay, so that's quite nice as well, because it's sort of like, it's not quite as strong as the Enchanted Cane, but it gives you +1 will, which is rather nice. So there we go. Okay, so that's the end of our 2 actions. Let's move into encounters. And we're up here in San Francisco, which I think you can improve your observation if things go well. We shall see. So we will take a, where is it? Europe, America. Here we go. See how we go with a San Francisco encounter. Oh dear. You ask a cultist John Carnby for help. Okay. If you passed, his vast knowledge allows you to enhance your abilities, improve a skill of your choice. If you fail, you are horrified to learn the next day that he was torn to pieces, gain a despair condition. Oh dear. Okay, well, let's just go ahead and roll up, and hopefully we get a 5 or a 6. And we do get a 6. Fantastic. So this allows us to improve 1 skill of our choice. So we could just lean into strength and do that, or we could up our influence. I'm thinking we up our strength again, because the stronger we are, the better, because it really leans into our actions. So whilst we're a little bit weak on the influence side, it makes a massive difference on the other side. So I'm inclined to improve that. I'd rather lean into what we're good at rather than trying to be sort of a bit better at everything. Okay, so that was a reasonable encounter. Everything is going well so far. Now, I guess it's time for the phase that we all love and adore and can never get enough of, and that is the mythos phase. So let us see what the lovely mythos phase has for us. And the first one is a blue one. Okay, so there's a clue. That's good. Okay, we'll. What's the clue? Hopefully it's somewhere close by. No, it's not. It's in Shanghai. Oh boy. Okay, over in Shanghai. We need 4 elders. We'll get to that in a second. Gradually, oh, this has got red. Oh boy. Okay. Gradually, you see a pattern as you compare these disparate glyphs from ancient civilizations around the globe. They all seem to be sending a warning through the ages, but what is the threat they refer to? You fear that you do not have much time for an answer. Far corners of the globe, ongoing rumour. After an investigator resolves an expedition encounter or a mystic runes encounter, he may spend 1 clue and place 1 clue on this card. If there are clues on this card equal to 1, solve this rumour. When there are no Eldritch tokens on this card, investigators lose the game. Oh my goodness. Well, that's quite a card to get at the beginning. How many? 4. Well, we are going to Tunguska, so we better get over there and deal with it. Well, that's kind of put the kibosh on things a little bit. Well, not actually, it hasn't, but wow, okay, that's quite a card to get. Okay, so basically we need a clue. So we've got to resolve an expedition encounter and then spend a clue and put it on this card. Okay, so there we go. Yes, well, that really does put a kibosh on things for poor old Hank. If it wasn't difficult enough already. So that's a thumping start to the game, isn't it? And clues are a long way away. There's nothing here that allows us to get clues, so we better get a move on. Okay, so that's the end of the first round, which started off pretty good actually. We got ourselves to San Francisco. We got ourselves the enchanted cane, and we and then we got ourselves extra strength. But then when we drew the mythos card, let's just say things got a little bit nastier. So we really do have to get over and resolve this expedition. I'm not sure what Mystic Runes encounter is, but anyway. Okay, so we move into turn 2. And we have 2 actions. We're here in San Francisco. So we can either head to Tokyo, which would be a couple of actions, or so we could take I think the first thing is we would take a sea ticket. So that's the first thing that we will do. Our first action. Oops. The first action is to take a sea ticket, ship ticket, which we can do because we're on a city space. So we can take a ship ticket, and then now we can either use the ship ticket to get ourselves to Tokyo. What's the benefit of being in Tokyo? Defeat monsters. Oh, that sounds all right. Or versus there. So if we go there, see if we don't move to here, then we're going to have a problem because we're going to be here, and it's going to take us another 2 turns to get over there, because from Tokyo you can't readily move. But once we're in Tokyo, we can get a rail ticket to Shanghai relatively quickly. But in Tokyo, we could defeat a monster as well. The other thing is we've got this, which we probably need to resolve as well. I hadn't thought about this, which is if you pass, discard this card. I think we're going to... do we go to Tokyo or do we go in a wilderness space so then we can then move and get rid of this Shen? Because if that's going to come up, it's going to immediately get rid of... Yeah, it's going to get rid of this clue if we get the lightning bolt effect. So maybe to defeat the monster might be worth the risk. Because if we can defeat the monster, then... but then we've got to... Oh, and then we can get to Shanghai, and then we can get a rail ticket. But it's still going to take us 2 goes, because we would move and we'd get a rail ticket, and then we could go to Tunguska next time. So maybe it's worthwhile because we might be lucky, we might defeat the monster, and then we can get the clue. And we can also, yeah, we can do a lot of things. So it's probably worth the risk, I think. So I'm going to do that. I am going to immediately put in my ship ticket and move 1, 2 to Tokyo. So that was our 2 actions. We got a ship ticket, and we used the ship ticket to get our asses over to Tokyo in the hope that we might draw something that allows us to destroy this Shan, and then we can hoover up this clue, and then we can get to Tunguska, and then we can resolve this expedition, and then we can get rid of this and not lose the game, and then we can close the gate, and hopefully we can also do all of that relatively easily. Maybe. Okay. Right. So that's the end of our actions. We go into encounters, so we're into an encounter phase in Tokyo. Let's see what Tokyo has for us. Tonight, Nurarion leads a parade of monsters through the streets. If you prove your might, he will grant you a favor. A monster ambushes you. For each success you roll on the strength test, one monster of your choice on any space loses 1 health. Wow. Each success we roll on the strength test. So we have a strength of 6. I don't think there's any way we can boost that further, but there you go. So we, so 6, isn't that right? 6, and it says, for each success you roll, one monster loses health. Monster of choice anywhere, on any space. So how much health does this little bugger have? 2. This is looking good. This actually might work. So 6 strength. 3, 4, 5. I think we're going to need another. I'll just copy this. There we go. 6. Is that right? 2, 4, 6. We are a 6. Yep. So if we get 2 successes out of this 6, then we can kill that Shen. All right, let's roll it up. Come on, 2 successes. I can see 2 successes, a 6 and a 6. Ooh, we did it. Let me just read this again. So for each success you roll on the strength test, one monster of your choice. For each success, 2 successes, one monster of your choice loses a health. So the Shen, it's a Shan, sorry. Oh, is 2 health, so it takes 2 health. I don't think there's anything stopping it doing that. So there we go. We get rid of the Shan. Wow. Well, that was a bit of luck. That was really a huge bit of luck, actually. That's good. Wow. Okay, fantastic. Well, that's something anyway. So we managed to get rid of that. So that's going to make that just that little bit easier. We're not going to lose this. So what we can do is we can get over to Shanghai. We can buy a rail ticket, and then we can get this clue, which helps us with the first mystery as well. Having said all of that, it's now time for the mythos card, which could put a kibosh on all of this. So yes, this moves around by 1 to blue. I don't think there's any blues at the moment. There is a monster surge, but there are no blues, so that means the gate, I think. Is that right? So that means a gate. Second gate is London, blue, with a A maniac. There's a maniac in London. There's a maniac in London. Well, we can deal with London, so that's fine. He's a maniac in London. And he's in a gate like never before. Okay. All right, so that's that bit, and then a clue. This will be a clue somewhere where I was before. You just wait. It'll be completely... No, actually, it's not. It's on space 14, which is really close. So all the clues are kind of all on one side of the board. There we go. Okay. So, that this mockery should take your place is the universe's most... It's another one with the red things. The most vile insult. Yet there it is, just beyond your reach, wreaking havoc and undoing all the good that you have accomplished, smiling all the while with the face you see every day in the mirror, replaced by another. Oh boy. Spawn the doppelganger epic monster on the lead investigator's space. Oh boy. Doppelganger. Same, aren't they? Yep. There he is. Doesn't look anything like me. Okay. So these spawns on the lead investigator's space. And I believe the lead investigator gains a lost in time and space condition. So we are out of the picture. Restriction, is it? I can never remember where they are, the lost in times and space. Here we go, we'll just take this one. Remove your investigator from the game board. You're unaffected by other game effects and cannot move or perform actions. Instead of resolving an encounter, flip this card. Okay. I've learned to be sanguine about these things. This game is pretty horrendous for a solo play. Alright, so we're lost in time and space. What else is it going to do to us? If the lead investigator already has a lost in time and space condition, no. Okay, so that's the end of that. So that put a bit of a kibosh on our attempts to go and get a clue and then get over to Tunguska, because we find ourselves somewhere else, lost in time and space, and the bloody doppelganger has taken our place. And what's his effect? Because he's got some kind of effect. Roll one die and a 1 or 2, advance the doom by 1. Okay, whatever. Okay, so that's the end of the second turn. So that was kind of mixed fortunes. We managed to get rid of the Shen, which was awesome. But unfortunately, that was all great. But unfortunately, in the process, we got taken over by a doppelganger, and we are now lost somewhere in time and space. Fantastic. So that's the end of the second round. So best laid plans for poor old Hank seem to be going awry as we move into turn 3. So we are lost in time and space, which basically means we can't do anything and cannot move instead of resolving an encounter. So we'll just go straight to the encounter. And we'll flip this card. You wander the land of dreams for many ages. When it comes time to ascend, you struggle to recall your past self. Will -1. So, okay, will -1. So let's move these out of the way. 2. That's a drawing of 2 because our will is 3. So let's see, we need a 5 or a 6. We've done pretty well with rolls so far. Are we going to get a 5 or a 6? And we don't, so we fail. If you pass, you don't. If you fail, spawn a gate, okay, and place your investigator token in that space and discard all of your clues. We don't have any. Then discard this card. Okay, so it's an extra gate, which is just going to make things, you know, anyway. Making a lot of gates, aren't we? Okay, so we'll spawn a gate. And the gate is in the heart of Africa with Amigo. Oh, another one that discards clues. Oh, we can gain an artifact. Okay, that's actually handy, because there's one of these that has an artifact, but I don't know if we're going to get that far. Okay, so we're in the heart of Africa with a mygo. We are there too. Yes, so, I mean, we're not a million miles away from where we were, to be honest. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's just, you know, it's just delaying us getting anywhere and doing anything. That's the problem, and we really need to get to Tunguska and deal with this expedition at some stage. Anyway, okay, so that was the encounter phase. So we now move into another mythos phase. It was very quick, wasn't it? This one doesn't have the red tentacles for a change, so that moves around to here, and that is a gate. We have no, it's not London. It's yeah, indeed, the heart of Africa. So that moves the doom track down by 1. We then have the lightning bolt effects. So let's start with the lightning bolt effects on the table. No, the maniac doesn't have any. I think, there's obviously this one, which is discard an Eldritch token. So there's only 3 left, and then we lose the game. And then let's see what the mygo says. The mygo says discard the nearest clue and move this monster to that space. Well, the nearest clue is is this one. So discard the nearest clue and move the mygo to that space. So that is discarded. Okay. I think that's right, isn't it? Discard the nearest clue and move this monster to that space. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then we spawn another gate. The gates are coming thick and fast already in San Francisco with a ghost. A ghost in San Francisco. Okay, there we go. Let's see what this says. In your quest for forbidden knowledge, you have let your enemies use your greatest strength against you. Oh, great. The dark forces knew how easily you could be blinded by your own pride. Played for a fool, each investigator loses 2 sanity and impairs his highest skill unless he spends a clue. So we lose 2 sanity. No, not bad. 2 sanity. Ooh, and this flips back to +1. Okay. It's worse things. All right, so that's the end of round 3. So we didn't get to do much except turn up in the heart of Africa. We're still not really achieving anything we need to achieve. So we've got to make some decisions. This should have gone. Sorry. Deal restriction pursuit. It's under restrictions. Okay, so that's the end of that round. So we move into turn 4. Poor old Hank. What are we going to do? Well, I think there's 2 sanity is not great, to be honest. So we're kind of in the middle of nowhere, so it's kind of hard to do much from here. Although we could look to close this gate just to, keep the gates under control. That may give us some advantage. Or do we move to a city space? And then we could get a ship ticket, which would get us over to Shanghai. But then that clue could disappear. The Mygo could get it. Or do we try and get rid of our debt condition and we increase our sanity? So even if the MyGo does get the clue next time in Shanghai, it would be good to go and kill it. I forgot. Oh, no, I did forget something. This effect. In fact, what am I doing? We forgot to do this, and we forgot to do the debt condition. I'm sorry, I've just realized I forgot to do two things. So here we go. Roll a die on a 1 or a 2, advance the doom by 1. Yes, so the doom goes by 1. And then the other thing we forgot to do was this. Sorry. Okay, so Dark Extraction, part of your essence that was the deal, and failure to live up to your end of the bargain will cost you and the world more than you bargained for. Resolve the reckoning effect for each room or mythos card in play. Unless you discard a 1 talent condition, then discard this card. Oh dear. Okay, that's not good. We don't have a talent condition, obviously. So that means the reckoning is discard an Eldritch token. So another Eldritch token goes from here. So there's only 2 left, which means we're going to lose the game pretty damn fast unless we do something about that. So that was a really unfortunate deck condition to get, but it's the way it goes in Eldritch Horror. So there we go. That's the yes. So that's the other piece that I should have done before we moved forward. So there we go. Right. So that's the end of the. That's the end of that mythos phase. So we move into the next phase for poor old Hank, who's now here in the heart of Africa. We are staring down the barrel of losing the game with 2 more losses of 2 more Eldritch tokens. So that has to be our focus. And the only way, of course, to deal with this is to resolve the expedition encounter. So we've got to get there. We are in the heart of Africa at the moment, which means we have to get the hell out of here and get over to Tunguska, which is easier said than done. I'm thinking if we move here, well, we could. No, we can't take a. We can't get a ticket. So we'll need to move to this city here, Cape Town probably. And then once we do that, then probably get a ship ticket, which can get us to Rome. And then we can get a rail ticket and then get over to Tunguska. I think that's probably the fastest way to do it. And just hope that's enough turns to actually resolve this particular one. And you have to get a clue. So well, yes, we can get a clue on the way. This is a real long shot. But if we don't do it, then we're dead anyway. Well, we're not dead, but we lose the game. So I think it's unlikely we're going to get very far. But we'll see how we go. So we have 2 actions. So our first action is to move to the city here. Our second action is to take a ship ticket in the city. Ship ticket. There we go. All right. So there we go. And hopefully we can survive long enough to actually do this expedition. And of course, assuming we actually manage to survive the expedition as well. So it's a very tall order for Hank, but we will see how we go. So that's our 2 actions. So then we move into encounter. So we'll just do a good old city encounter, which I hope is a city encounter and not a shitty encounter. We will see. So we are in a city. A night of drinking and good cheer helps raise your spirits. Recover 2 sanity. Oh, okay. There we go. Well, we lost the sanity. We got it back. While you were celebrating, you hardly noticed that you're being robbed. Okay. So, okay. So we've got 3 observations. So we've got a pretty good chance. And look, even if we lost the scribe's journal or something, it's not the end of the world. So we'll roll those up, and indeed we pass it. So we're all good. Luckily, Hank is pretty streetwise, so all good. A bit of luck along the way. So there we go. That was good because I was worried about our sanity and didn't really have time to rest. So all good. So that's our encounter. So we move into the mythos phase, and the mythos phase. Okay. All right. So we move the doom round, the omen track round to blue. Tunguska. Yeah, there's London. So that means it goes down 1. That's green as well. So next time it's going to get 3. Oof. Anyway, not a lot we can do about that. Okay, now the lightning bolt. Oh, this is another red tentacle one. Oh my goodness, I'm getting so many of these this time. So the red tentacle one is the Mygo. What does the Mygo do? Discard the nearest clue and move this monster to that space. So the nearest clue is Shanghai. So the Mygo moves to Shanghai. We'll drop that in the trash. Are there any others? Doppelganger? I think that, roll a die on a 1 or a 2. Advance the doom by 1. Let's have a go. A 2. I think on a 1 or a 2 it goes... Yep. So that goes down by 1. Okay. Alright, that's the doppelganger. I don't think there's any other effects. No. So the only other one is this one. So we move another Eldritch token off of here. So we're literally 1 away from losing the game. Okay, then a gate. And the gate we get is Arkham. And the monster we get is a Byakhee. A Byakhee in Arkham. There we go. Alright. So, the resources you have spent your lifetime collecting are gone. Like a house of cards, your world falls to pieces around you. Yeah, that's exactly what seems to be happening to poor old Hank. With certain doom looming on the horizon, you have no other choice but to start again from nothing. Nice. Each investigator with the most item possessions, that's me, discards all of his item possessions. Okay. What else? I've got this scribe's journal which says discard clues or spells. Well, we don't have either of those, so we lose all our item possessions. So they're all gone. That's really harsh. This game, I tell you, is very, very harsh. Well, that's the way it goes. I've just had a lot of nasty red ones here. Finally, investigator with the most spells as well as finally the investigator with the most clues discards all clues with no clues. Okay, that's it. All right, that's really unfortunate, but we are still alive and we can still go. So we started with I suppose we had a little bit of luck. And then we ended with losing all of our items. Alright, so we move into turn 6. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we are going to move 2 spaces to roam. That's the first thing we're going to do. Second thing we're going to do is... I'm probably thinking we should try and get some items back, to be honest. I mean, we've got nothing to lose. So we were 2 influence. We can get the lodge guy. That actually might be helpful, or the spirit dagger or something. So let's roll these up. See how we go. Actually, well, okay. We need a clue. So we won't be... Is this a... Yes, it is a city space. So as long as the Mygo doesn't gobble up that clue, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen, we can get that next time. And indeed, we might even be able to do this. Yes, so we don't need a rail token yet. So that's the first thing. We could just go for a focus token, but I really think we need something like this. So I think we're better off rolling up and see if we can get something else. We don't get any, but we can take 2. We can take a deck condition, and we could take the Spirit Dagger, which I think +1 and +2 during combat encounters, and it's magical. So there we go. That's better than a kick in the pants. All right, so we move into encounter. We're in Rome. And what does Rome allow us to do? Improve our will. Well, that actually might be... Oh, hold on. Just got to realize I've just got to put something out here. What asset do we get? Alchemical Concoction, which would be a nice thing to have as well. But anyway, I think we'll go for a Rome, because if we can improve our will, that might help us in the coming encounters. Rome. As you examine the Porta Alchemica, a strange being reaches out to you through the portal. Gain a boon condition. Okay. Boon. Let's shuffle them up. And this is the boon condition we get. So we get 4, 5, and 6. Fantastic. That's something nice. That is super helpful, actually. What else, though? There's more. You speak with the being through the portal. Influence -1. We should have got a reroll. Jeez. Oh, my God. At least now we can do a 4, 5, or a 6. Yeah, maybe a focus token. So we've got to get a 4, 5, or 6. So we roll it up. Come on, 4, 5, or 6. We get a 6. Oh, my goodness. Woo. If you pass, it praises your integrity. Improve your will. Okay. Improve the will. Excellent. Wow. If you fail. No. Wow. Well, that was actually really good. We got a boon condition, and we managed to improve our will. So that's super helpful. But it could be all over now, because we're going to draw another card, and it's all over. Unfortunately, it's all over. So let's just go through all of this. We move this to the green, which there is 1, 2, so it moves down 3, 1, 2, 3 to 8. What else? Yes, and then the Mygo actually will move and hoover up this other clue anyway. So we wouldn't have been able to do it anyway, because I was hoping that maybe we would get another blue or something which didn't cause this, but it wasn't to be. And then, of course, we lose the final Eldritch token, which means we lose the game. Ah, dear. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. It looked like our luck was starting to turn around a little bit for Hank. That was a very unfortunate synergy, or whatever the opposite of synergy is, between the rumour and the deck condition, which just accelerated things, really. This rumour here is particularly nasty. We didn't have a clue either, so that was the other problem, and we had a Mygo hoovering up all of the clues. So Hank really struggled to really make any headway in this game, I'm afraid. So he finishes with no mysteries in turn 6. So poor old Hank, never mind, that's the way that it goes. And next time we are going to play with Dexter Drake. Dexter Drake, the magician. I'm assuming he might be a bit more spell-orientated than Hank. Let's hope that he has better luck than poor old Hank. So that was a very short and sweet game. Thank you very much for watching. I do appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I am Krabby Terror 8, and I will see you next time. Goodbye.